Um, very good afternoon all. So today the topic we are going to see is inheritance. So inheritance in Python. So what is inheritance? Inheritance is a way of creating new class for using details of existing class without modifying it. The newly formed class is called derived class or a child class. Similarly, the original class, the existing class is called the base class or the parent class. Here we have 5 inheritance, and all the inheritance using object-oriented programming. We are going to see the sample programming. So let us get into the single inheritance. So what is single inheritance? When there is one child class that inherits a single parent class, that is called single inheritance. For example, you could see here you have a class parent. So this colon is the syntax. So class parent. So and then you have a there is another class, second class called class child. Okay, this class child is inheriting this parent. So this parent is passed here. So class parent has a function 1, and then class child, which is inheriting the parent, is having a function 2. So after creating the function, so as you all know, when there is a class, obviously the object needs to be created, otherwise we cannot instantiate those classes. So we are creating an object called OB for the child class. The object of this child class can be useful to call the function the parent. Okay, so OB is equal to child. So now this object of this child class can access both the functions in the child class as well as in the parent class. So OB dot function 1, which is actually can access the parent class function, and then OB dot function 2, which can access the function of the child class. So the output will be this is function 1, this is function 2, because this is first accessing the function 1. So it will be like this will be printed, this is function 1, then it will be accessing the function 2, so this is function 2 will be printed. So the next one is multiple inheritance. So what is multiple inheritance? So the multiple inheritance is nothing but when there are two parents and one child inherits from the two parents. So inherits all the properties of the two parents, that is called multiple inheritance. So let's see how you can write the program for this. So we have one parent and then two parents. See here you have two parents. As I said, multiple inheritance, you'll be having two parents and one child will be inheriting the properties from two parents. So I have two parents created here, class parent 2. So one child is inheriting two parents. So class child. So this parent and this parent 2 will be passed in the as a parameter for the child class. So the class parent, the first parent have the function 1, and the second parent have the function 2, and the child class, which is inheriting the parent and parent 2, is having a function called function 3. So now what happens is that we are creating a object for the child. So since this child is inheriting both the parents, so the object of this child OB can access all the functions of both parent 1 as well the parent 2. So OB dot function 1, which is the function in the parent class, and then OB dot function 2, which is the function in the parent 2, and OB dot function 3, which is the function in the child class. So our output would be this is function 1, this is function 2, this is function 3. So this is called multiple inheritance. So what is the next one? Multi-level inheritance. So what is next one? It is multi-level inheritance. So what is multi-level inheritance? So it will be like kind of class B will be inheriting class A, and then class B will act as a parent for the another class called class C. So I could say for class C, class B is a parent and class A is a kind of grandparent. Okay, so now multi-level we are going to see here. So multi-level. So class parent, so you have a parent called class parent, and then you have a child where this child is inheriting this parent, and the child 2 is inheriting this child. So for this child 2, this child acts as a parent here. So for child 2, child will act as a parent and parent will act as a kind of grandparent. So see here for this child, the parent will be passed here, and for child 2, the child, which is a parent for child 2, will be passed here. So and then you have a function 1 in parent, and then function 2 in child, and then function 3 in child 2. Now what happens is that I'm creating a object for function 2. So OB is equal to child 2. This object can be used to access the functions in both the parent as well as the child class, because as I told you, this parent is going as a grandparent for the child too. So the object of this child 2 can access the class parent also. So OB is equal to child 2. So OB dot function 1, OB dot function 2, OB dot function 3. So the output will be, this is function 1, this is function 2, this is function 3. Okay, so the next one we are going to look into is hierarchical inheritance and then hybrid inheritance. So before getting into the hierarchical inheritance, let me tell you what is hierarchical inheritance. So there will be one parent class, whereas two child will inherit the property of the single parent. So look into the hierarchical here. Okay, so look at the hierarchical. So this is hierarchical. So you have a class called parent, and then you have a two child class. One is child and then the other one is child 2. So what happens is that, so see here you have a function called class parent, you have a function 1 in the class parent and the child class and then child 2, which is inheriting the same parent. So parent will be passed for both child and child 2. So for child you have a function called function 2, and then for child 2 you have a function called function 3. So what happens here is, now I am creating a object called OB, where this OB that I have been created for this child class can be used to access only this parent, because as I said you, this is going to be the hierarchical inheritance. So in the hierarchical inheritance you have two child and one parent, where these two child are no way connected. So the object created for this child cannot be used to access the functions in this class, or the object created for this class cannot be used to access the functions in the class B, that is this child class. So this is how I have actually given here. So OB is equal to child, where this child object cannot be used to access the functions in child 2. So that is why I have created another object called OB1 to access the function in child 2. So OB is equal to child. So now this can be used to access the function 2 as well the function 1, whereas OB1, which is the object of child 2, can be used to access the function of parent as well as the child 2, that is function 1 as well as the function 3. So now OB dot function 1. So okay, OB is created for this child, that is class child. So now it can access the parent. So this is function 1 will be printed. Then OB dot function 2. So OB dot function 2 also can be accessed. So it will be, this is function 2. So the output here will be, this is function 1 and then this is function 2. If you try to access like this, OB dot function 3, you cannot access the function 3 because that is in the second child class. As well, you cannot able to use the OB1 to access the function in child, because that is not related. Those two childs are not actually related. Okay, fine. So now hybrid inheritance. So in hybrid inheritance, as you see, it actually involves the hierarchical as well as the multiple inheritance, hierarchical and the multiple inheritance. So see here, hierarchical. So what is hierarchical? You have one parent as well as two child. So as you see here, you have one parent and then you have two child. So one class parent and then two child, class child and then class child 1. Both are inheriting the parent. So those are inheriting the parent. And then you have a child 3, which is inheriting the two parent. So as you could see, when a child is going to inherit two parent, then that is called multiple inheritance. inheritance. So the hybrid is nothing but it is actually the combination of hierarchical as well as the multiple inheritance. So here you have class child 3, which is having inheriting two parents, that is parent as well as child 1. Okay, so see here you have a class parent where you have two child and child 1, both are actually inheriting the one parent, so it is called hierarchical. And then multiple, you have one child where one child is actually inheriting all the properties of two parents, that is one is parent and then child 1. So now the object has been created for the child 3. So and then this child 3 object can be used to access the functions in parent as well as child 1. So now OB is equal to child 3, so OB dot function 1, which is accessed which is accessing the class parent, which is a parent of child 3. Also this OB also can be able to access function 3 also, it can access. Okay, so the output here will be this is function 1. So thank you all. So I hope you're all clear with all the inheritances we have seen in this video. So single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multiple inheritance, and then hybrid inheritance. Thank you so much.